It was at that moment Viva Frei knew he screwed up.
I have always had a philosophy about my YouTube channel. Everybody knows how beautiful and wonderful kids can be. And everybody also knows, especially those who have kids, how dreadfully trying it can be at times to be a parent. And while there are some channels that celebrate how hard it can be to be a parent sometimes, that's not what my channel is about, so you don't see that on my channel. But this morning, Ethan, left unattended for a few minutes, thought it was a good idea to smash and destroy 35-year-old hand-painted Easter eggs that my mother-in-law, his grandmother, had in a drawer that nobody really knew about. Until we walked into the room and there were eggshells and disgusting dried-up black yolks spread all over the ground. If my mother-in-law is in fact upset about it, she's hiding it very well. Before we had kids, before I even got married, I remembered looking at married couples. They were impatient with each other. They would get angry over silly things. And I remember thinking, like, why are they acting like this? This is so crazy. And then I got married and we had kids, and I could sort of understand in retrospect what those people were going through now. When you have your first kid, it's a whole new world. It's a whole new universe. It's wonderful. It's magical. Every moment is a first. And then you have a second kid, and it's fun to relive the first experience over again. And then you have a third kid, and you haven't slept in 8 years. And although you love every moment of it, you get irritated more easily. You are more fatigued. You find it more difficult to deal with what was once novel. And the thing is, you feel terrible feeling it, and you feel even more terrible verbalizing it. I got a fish. Got a fish. We got a fish. This feels like a pretty decent fish, actually. Oh yeah, this is a good one, eh? Look at that beast. Oh my goodness, that felt like a good fish. Thank you for distracting me from what I was talking about, though. Look at a little baby. It's a little baby. And what do we do with babies? Go make more babies. You feel terrible feeling it because you know in retrospect you're gonna love these moments. But in the moment you are so darn tired sometimes. You are so darn stressed sometimes. You're so darn overloaded with everything in life that it becomes difficult to appreciate it for what it is. Another bite? Oh my goodness, look at this. Yeah, that's a big fish. That's a big fish. Holy cow. Did I just catch the exact same fish again? I swear to you, I think I just caught the exact same fish. And there are things that I have not yet gotten used to as a parent. There are things that I don't understand, that I don't know yet. How angry are you supposed to get at a kid who just smashed 35-year-old family heirlooms and refuses to say sorry? How do you make a kid understand that he has to keep his gloves on when it's winter and you're ice fishing? How much are you supposed to let a kid learn through his own mistakes? Part of you says let the kid take his or her gloves off. Their hands will get cold and they'll learn quickly enough. You know, the reality is that when a kid gets hurt, it's the parent's fault, even if it's not the parent's fault. And then the ultimate reality is that when a kid smashes 35-year-old hand-painted Easter eggs that your wife made when she was a kid, it's his fault, but it's the parent's fault. Kierkegaard, man. Life can only be understood backwards. Now I look back at my parents with us and I understand everything. I understand it now. I understand it because I feel it. I feel it, and now I know that they must have felt bad also when they got mad at me when I was a kid. The hardest thing for me is getting mad at the kids because I don't like being a disciplinarian. And when I was a kid, I remember my father saying, I don't like acting like this. And now I'm the guy saying, I don't like acting like this when I'm getting mad at my kids for smash. And in the push and pull of parenting, how much do you push? How hard do you force a kid to eat his or her vegetables? And it is a push and a pull. The parent pushes, the kid pushes. The parent pulls, the kid pulls. And at times I find myself saying no for no apparently good reason, just because it's the reflexive thing as a parent to say you have to lay down some ground rules. Just a reflexive answer of no to a question. What difference does it make? Parent has to set down the rules, the kid has to respect the rules, blah, blah, blah. Some of the happiest moments that I've ever had are when I actually forget that my kid is my kid, and for a brief second in time, it just feels like they're my friend. But the reality is you can't go through parenting being your kid's friend. You can and will be their best friend, but you also have to be their parent. Nobody told me this before we had kids. I am generally a very happy, very thankful, very positive person. But fatigue plays tricks on the mind, and there are moments when I'm just so flipping tired about everything. Getting woken up 5 times a night by 3 kids. Getting woken up at 5 in the morning by a whining dog that has to go outside. The responsibilities of being a parent are sometimes overwhelming. And then you sometimes behave irrationally, and then you feel terrible that you behaved so irrationally in the first place. But anybody who understands what I'm saying does not need to be reminded of it, and anyone who hasn't yet had kids doesn't need to know of this, because then they might think twice about having kids. No, that's a joke. Having kids is magnificent, it's beautiful, it's constant company. For anyone who doesn't have children or who has never had experience with children, I like to say that children basically behave like drunk adults that haven't slept in 4 days. Literally in the sense that they fall over, they bang their heads, they go from laughter to crying in the same breath. There's no rationalizing, there's no making them understand. They don't yet have the ability to necessarily understand the complexities of the situation. Perfect example, we got a fish. Oh, we got a fish. Oh, this one feels good. Perfect example is they'll understand the basic notion of fairness. So when they see their sister has 2 pieces of bread and they only have 1, they're gonna scream inequity. If you try to tell them that their sister's 2 pieces of bread are in fact 2 halves and their 1 piece is a whole, they don't understand that. They don't understand it. They scream, literally, until you cut their piece into 2 so that they have 2 pieces, exactly half the size of the original piece, but now they think it's fair because they both have 2 pieces. My definition of frustration is the lack of free mobility. There is nothing more irritating, more frustrating to the core than being pinned down by your brother when you're a kid because you are lacking the fundamental freedom of physical movement. Frustration is not being able to move, physically and spiritually. And sometimes the thing about kids is you're actually unable to move, you're unable to breathe, you are unable to have the same life you had before kids, but you know that you don't want that life anymore. There are just moments where it's so easy just to put on a jacket and go outside for a hike, but when you have 3 kids, it takes 45 minutes to get them dressed, and by the time you get the 3rd one dressed, the 1st one has already taken off his or her clothes. And then you finally get all of them out after an hour, and they last 15 minutes because they get cold in the winter, because winter is cold. And when you're a kid, your emotions are exaggerated. When you're cold as an adult, you'll deal with it because you want to catch a fish. When you're cold as a kid, you want to go in. Period. There's no alternative. I'm cold, I want to go in, I want hot chocolate, I want you to make me the hot chocolate. I feel better now. You feel better? These are things that anybody who has come close to kids already knows. Kids are awesome. Whoa. The ice just cracked here. Kids are awesome. Having them is awesome. Once you have them, you can never conceive of a world without them. But there are moments. There are moments, and they are dark parts of your soul, and they are thoughts and emotions and reactions that you don't like. You don't like having them, and you don't feel good about yourself for having had them. And then the reality is you have to accept that that's just part of being a parent. It can't all be roses and kisses. Ugh. This is as close as my channel is going to get to the dark side of parenting. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share my channel, spread the word, help me grow. Peace out. Boom! Oh God, that hurt. I'm good. Oh, I hope I got that on camera. Oh my God, that hurt. Is it possible? Oh my God. Okay, I'm fine. Oh God. Oh, please. It would only be worth it if I actually caught that on camera. Whew. Oh, that hurts. May have broken a rib. Was that recording? Oh, it was recording. Oh my God.